Hi there, and welcome back to Movies Unbound, where this time we dive into the making of Conclave and the remarkable artistry behind its unexpected triumph. We will be looking at 3 impossible challenges the Conclave team faced: recreating the Sistine Chapel without Vatican access, directing a dialogue-heavy thriller in confined spaces, and making audiences care about complex theological politics. Edward Berger solved them all masterfully. How did they pull off this cinematic miracle? We will be sharing footage that shows production designer Suzie Davies racing against a 10-week deadline, Ralph Fiennes studying real cardinals to capture authentic mannerisms, and innovative camera work transforming still conversations into edge-of-your-seat tension. These creative solutions turned a modest budget into a $100 million worldwide success. Get your red robes on as we get ready to join the Conclave. Building the Vatican, the 10-week race to create movie magic. When the Vatican politely but firmly said no to filming in their sacred spaces, the team behind Conclave faced what seemed like an insurmountable obstacle. Production designer Suzie Davies found herself staring down a ticking clock, just 10 weeks to somehow recreate one of the world's most recognizable and detailed artistic spaces, the Sistine Chapel. During her search, Davies stumbled upon an incredible stroke of luck at Rome's Cinecittà Studios. Gathering dust were incomplete flat-packed scenery pieces from a previous production, remnants of a Sistine Chapel recreation, broken down into 8x4-foot flats. Like a Renaissance artwork being restored from fragments, these abandoned pieces became the foundation for something extraordinary. The team had to rebuild these elements entirely and transform them into a convincing replica of the Vatican's most sacred space. Every detail mattered, from repainting the intricate artwork to recarpeting the floors for historical accuracy. The task demanded both speed and precision that would satisfy even the most discerning viewers. Davies made a crucial decision to bring in local artisans who had worked on the original set. These craftspeople brought their intimate knowledge of the chapel's architecture and Michelangelo's masterpieces, ensuring every brushstroke and architectural element felt authentic. Beyond the chapel, Davies created spaces that reflected each character's nature. Cardinal Lawrence's quarters were designed as modest and humble, mirroring Ralph Fiennes' unassuming character. In contrast, Cardinal Bellini's room was palatial, with visual cues hinting at Stanley Tucci's character's ambitions. We played with a juxtaposition of what we think we know about the Vatican, and what Edward and I decided was going to be our world behind closed doors, Davies explained, highlighting the contrast between public perception and the film's portrayal of Vatican's inner workings. The film's explosive climax presented the ultimate challenge. How do you create a believable explosion in a meticulously crafted sacred space without destroying it? The solution came in an elaborate rig, 60 to 70 feet high in the studio ceiling. Using specially designed pistons filled with lightweight rocks and dust, the team could create a convincing blast without causing real damage. Executing this effect required what Davies called military precision between takes, resetting everything without harming actors or damaging the set. Safety remained paramount throughout. Davies insisted on rigorous protocols to ensure the dust was safe to breathe. After each explosive take, everything had to be efficiently cleaned and reset. The attention to detail paid off remarkably. When Conclave was released, many viewers believed the production team had somehow secured permission to film in the actual Vatican, mistaking a set built in just 10 weeks for a space that took Michelangelo years to create. This confusion stands as perhaps the highest compliment to Davies and her team's achievement. Becoming the Cardinals, how the cast transformed into Vatican insiders. Even with the most meticulously crafted Vatican replicas, the film would fall flat without believable cardinals to inhabit them. The cast of Conclave faced a truly unique acting challenge. How do you authentically portray religious leaders who operate in absolute secrecy? For Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, and their co-stars, the answer lay in finding the humanity behind the robes. Fiennes approached Cardinal Lawrence with remarkable subtlety, describing him as a George Smiley-esque figure, whose most significant moments happen behind his eyes rather than through dialogue. This internal performance style perfectly suited a character navigating Vatican politics. Lawrence has a crisis of faith going on at the very moment he has to run a conclave, Fiennes explained. There was a great dramatic challenge in that. His performance balanced outward composure with inner turmoil. Stanley Tucci developed a distinctly different approach for Cardinal Bellini. According to Fiennes, Stanley is one of those actors where you watch him on set and it all feels very light, but then on film it's all there and it's unbelievable. This deceptively casual technique created a character whose charm masked deeper ambitions, perfect for Bellini's political maneuvering. Isabella Rossellini drew from personal experience for Sister Agnes. I went to nun school, and I know that sometimes the nuns at my school seem to have more authority than even the mothers of some of my friends who seemed more repressed, she shared, bringing authentic understanding to her performance. To ensure authenticity, the cast immersed themselves in Vatican traditions. Religious advisors were present daily, guiding them through ecclesiastical behavior. Fiennes studied Italian and Latin, and met with actual cardinals and priests, absorbing insights about religious vows. Consultations that helped the actors understand the centuries of tradition behind every gesture. What truly surprised them during research was discovering the human dynamics within the Vatican. Everybody is susceptible to human failings: jealousy, grudges, vindictive ambition, greed, noted Fiennes. But in the context of sacred people, that just sets up an automatic tension and duality. This revelation added compelling layers to their performances. The cast's chemistry wasn't just acting. During filming in Rome, they bonded over shared meals, creating genuine connections that translated on screen. You take it one step first. There are some really good restaurants in Rome, so that helps, Tucci remarked. These dinners became opportunities to discuss their characters' motivations, deepening their understanding of the complex power dynamics they portrayed. Directing the unseen. Berger's visual strategy for an invisible process. Behind those powerful performances lay an equally impressive directorial challenge. How would you make audiences sit on the edge of their seats watching 5 nearly identical voting scenes where cardinals do nothing but mark papers and breathe? This was the puzzle Edward Berger had to solve, turning what could have been the most boring scenes in cinema into some of the most tense moments on screen, creating suspense without car chases, ticking bombs, or physical confrontation seemed impossible. Berger faced 5 separate voting sequences with the same basic action: cardinals silently marking ballots. "I was really worried about these voting scenes becoming boring," Berger admitted. He needed a different approach to maintain tension. His solution? Meticulous visual planning. Berger carefully storyboarded each voting sequence to make them visually distinct. He focused on concrete details: meaningful glances between cardinals, the scratch of pen on paper, the sound of breathing in a silent room. These small moments became powerful building blocks of suspense in scenes where even the slightest movement carried weight. "The planning was really important," Berger explained. His carefully plotted visual approach transformed potentially static scenes into compelling visual storytelling. Viewers remained engaged through shifting perspectives and evolving power dynamics. The storyboards ensured what appeared on screen matched his original vision. Berger made bold visual choices at key moments. When Cardinal Bellini loses critical support, Berger films him surrounded by empty seats. The vacant chairs, like abandoned thrones in a power vacuum, physically represent the cardinal's isolation and defeat. This visual metaphor communicated his political downfall more powerfully than dialogue ever could. The spaces themselves created additional tension. The ethereal, light-filled Sistine Chapel contrasted with the darker, confining Casa Santa Marta, creating visual tension that mirrored the film's themes of light versus darkness and truth versus deception. This spatial contrast enhanced the claustrophobic feeling of cardinals locked away until reaching a decision. Berger's achievement came from embracing his story's limitations rather than fighting them. By leaning into quiet moments, meaningful silences, and subtle visual storytelling, he proved that cinematic tension doesn't require traditional action. The film found its greatest suspense in its quietest scenes, where a glance or breath communicated volumes about the high-stakes power struggle within those sacred walls. What Berger has accomplished with Conclave is nothing short of remarkable. As filmmaker Alexander Payne noted, the film has that miraculous quality of making something you never forget is a movie, but at the same time, it's as though you're actually there. This perfectly captures what makes this Vatican thriller so effective. The collective voice of acclaimed critics highlights the film's technical achievements, with Mark Kermode highlighting its thoughtful portrayal of the papal election process, while Richard Lawson observed how it balances seriousness with entertainment value. What's most surprising is how audiences have embraced this challenging subject matter, responding positively to the engaging storytelling and performances. When you revisit Conclave, observe how every detail transforms creative limitations into opportunities. From meticulously crafted sets to carefully composed shots, the film creates an authentic experience of a hidden world despite never filming in the actual location, proof that artistic constraints can yield truly unforgettable results. What were your thoughts on Conclave? Which actor gave your favorite performance? Comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this from Movies Unbound. Catch you on the next one!